Welcome back to the DeliverThat platform, folks. I'm your host, Ben Alkire. Thank you for consuming the content morning, afternoon, and evening. We appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit that subscribe button down below. That's going to help us out more than you could ever know. I have an amazing driver spotlight to bring to you folks today. I have a driver who joined the platform fairly recently in September of 2023. Since that time, he has taken 100 total deliveries, delivered $25,000 worth of food, and driven over 500 miles on the platform. Outside of the gig economy, he is a professional poker player, and you may know him from his YouTube channel, the Nola Grind, where he has over 4,100 subscribers at this moment in time, where he showcases deliveries from all food platforms, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, and DeliverThat. Welcome to the spotlight, David, the Nola Grind.
I feel like I'm coming through a stadium or something. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, so we revamped it a little bit. I've been basing, so I don't know if you consume podcasts in your own right or outside of this and everything, but Theo Vaughn, I watch a ton of comedy stuff on my end, and Theo Vaughn has a podcast, and he kind of intros things in that manner, super nice, and I've kind of taken that liberty in how I introduce our guests now, and I feel like it's a little bit better. It gives people more of a background to who they'll be seeing, what they're going to be hearing about.
Yeah, man, I like it. I feel pumped.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. This is great. You look great. Love the video quality, the audio quality on your end. We talked, I introed the content creator side of things. We'll get into that aspect here down the line. But obviously, we're here to talk about all things gig economy, DeliverThat, food delivery. So I want to start out there and introduce you to that realm and how you get into that world. So gig economy, how'd you get started in it? How'd you first hear about it? Let's start there.
Well, I mean, when I started in the gig space, it was in the end of 2018. So almost 6 years now in the game of gig world, which is insane. Because how it started, I was just basically needing to get out. This office space is where I am most of my time working. People might know I play online poker for a living. I've been doing it now for 16 years. So when I'm home, when I'm here, this is all I do. So I needed an escape to talk to people and to, that kind of thing. Gig work was just the perfect thing for me. I can get out. I could, talk to people and get right back to the house and continue my day. So poker is very isolating in that way. So you don't get to mingle with people. Your goal is to take their money. So you're not chatting it up. You're just playing. You know what I mean? So the gig world really, I feel like it helped me in a lot of ways mentally. So that's why I went ahead and started doing it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I will always do some part of it. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, and you've had an amazing career within this industry as far as I can tell since you've indebted yourself to it. Is that kind of what drew you to the gig economy? I know you kind of said that in the opening statement there, but the scheduling, the convenience factor, what drew you to this side of things?
100%, you can pick whatever you want to log on, right? So if I had I was in management before this, but doing management and also poker, when tournaments came up, it's hard to, you're missing tournaments to be there because you need to be there. You know what I mean? So that 40 hours a week job just wasn't for me as far as, because the bulk of my money is poker. It always will be. I mean, it's just what I'm good at. It's what I do. But I mean, I have my degrees, but I always stick to poker because this is what I do. So the scheduling is the huge part, obviously, for a lot of people. And scheduling was a big part for me. So now I'm able to get out 10, 12, sometimes 15 hours a week. That doesn't sound like much, but I do pretty well in that short period of time. I really do. So.
Hell yeah, yeah. And so over the course of 5 months, you and I were talking through text off camera a little bit. You hit that 100 delivery mark. I know that was a big thing for you, being able to qualify for that elite tier on our platform specifically. But $25,000 worth of food, 540 miles driven. How's that feel to hear those numbers from your perspective?
Kind of crazy. That's insane. $20,000 worth. That's insane. It really is. Because it doesn't seem like that long ago, right? Like I was I had signed up for DeliverThat quite a while ago. And then it just kind of got lost. Like when I was, doing the other stuff, I'm like, it's time to branch out. Things are slowing down. I think like what a lot of people don't understand to do is to pivot, right? So you're stuck on one kind of app and you're only doing that one kind of app, and the app gets slow, right? So people, it's easy for people to say, "Oh, it's so slow, it's so slow." I haven't seen a slowdown. I haven't, because I just pivot between whatever I want to do for that particular time when it's busy. Like right now, I actually had to turn. This is the first time I ever toggled off DeliverThat. I had to toggle it off because right now it's Mardi Gras season here in New Orleans, and it's just going off like crazy. But I know where those deliveries are, and I'm not doing it. It's just so many like parades and things like that happening. So I had to toggle it off. I'm gonna toggle it back on next week. But right now, this is the first time I ever toggled it off. That's how many orders are coming through. So for people to say that if things are slow, you need to try other apps in your area. It's just what it is.
Yeah, the multi-apping of things is always an interesting conversation to kind of lead into and discuss on our end, because as a catering platform, delivery platform, things of that nature, we're well aware how things operate for the drivers, right? We understand our deliveries are happening in a very niche space of time, typically that 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. area. We have some breakfast, have some dinner, but that's our mainstay piece of our property in this industry right now. So we know drivers are having to rely on these other platforms. And what has that been like for you on your end? You have mentioned on your channel Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, things of that nature. How has operating on those platforms been for you as well?
Um, Other things have gotten slower. It really has. The platforms have gotten slower, but because I've always only worked 10 to 1. That's always been my schedule for the past 6 years. So it was perfect for me for the catering app. It's just absolutely perfect. So I go out, do 2, sometimes 3, sometimes I've done 5 in a day on DeliverThat, back to back to back to back to back, and just go head to the house. You know what I mean? So it's just absolutely perfect for me. Some days I don't even turn the other apps on um, anymore, but I do. It's great to have those in the middle if you have gaps in between. But if you know your area and you're able to look at different orders and accept it, you get really good at not having gaps. You get good at just balancing the routing, which is that's my absolute favorite part of DeliverThat. Talking to those guys in the routing who does the routing, and they're starting to understand, like, hey, if I say I can do this, this, and this, I can do it because I've done it so long that I know the area and what to expect as far as traffic. So at the beginning, it was like, I don't know. And then now it's like, okay, I think you might be able to handle these. So, I mean, now they're giving me a little bit of more liberty to take those 3 in a row that looks a little dicey, but I can get it done.
Yeah. The routing side of things is always intriguing as well. And you mentioned how you're not delivering right now because you know where these Mardi Gras deliveries are going. How much time do you spend when you're able to accept a delivery on our platform? How much time do you spend on your back end actually looking into that delivery in those details? What the payment is, what the gratuity is, where the drop off is, what that location's like. Do you spend a lot of time actually consuming that information and then either deciding to take that delivery or release it back to the rest of the fleet?
Oh, 100%. Like it's about, I look at Google. That's my first thing. Boom. Look at the address, what kind of building it is, what time of day it's going. You just have to know these intricacies of your city, right? You have to know how busy that traffic is, especially if you're going to. If it's only one order, I guess you can sit out there all day. You know what I mean? But if you have multiple orders going, stacking, you need to know how much time you have. You need to know your buildings. You need to be familiar with the people at the buildings. I talk to everyone. If you watch any of my videos, the managers at the locations when I'm picking up orders, they all know me when I come in. It's like, I can call ahead. There's several places, McAllister's, Spitali's. I can call ahead and say, hey, I may have to be about 10 minutes early on this. Can we have that ready? Yeah, David, we got you. So that's very important to have those kind of relationships if you're going to be stacking and doing multiple orders like that. It's just important. You can go in there with the robotic mind and not have that service aspect, that customer service aspect, but that is my background. Speaking with people and making them feel comfortable. I mean, that's what it's. I think that's really huge for this kind of business. People, you go in for the deliveries and they just remember that. They remember you having that conversation with them because everybody else is just treating them as employees, but they remember you having that conversation.
Yeah, the relationship aspect of things is so important and crucial to how well these deliveries can often go. And you mentioned a few restaurants you enjoy working with. I do appreciate that because that was kind of going to be my next line of discussion. And how important is that timeliness for you in those deliveries? Obviously, making sure that food is ready when you walk in that door, you can pack it up, get out the door. What are some important things for restaurants to be considering when operating on the catering side of things? Is it timing? Is it packaging? What would you say is most important in your world?
Yeah, packaging. I believe packaging is underrated. I really do. People put it in bags. And it's easy for the restaurant, right, to just have bags. But imagine the end result for the customer, the end customer, when you have a nice box delivery, when you're able to unpackage that in a neat way. There's nothing spilling. There's nothing sideways. When you have a nice, concise packaging, it may cost them a little bit, but they'll gain so much. And I actually was speaking with one of the merchants, which is I used to call them pigeon catering. I called them that for 6 years. They just told me that it's pigeon after 6 years. But anyways, it's called pigeon catering. They have a little French thing over here. If you know the history of New Orleans, it's a lot of French. But anyways, pigeon catering. I was like, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. The packaging, it's a little rough because you have these big pans and it can be spilly, and you got beans and all this stuff. Guess what they have now? Boxes. They started with the boxes, and she was telling me about it. You like the boxes? I was like, yeah, this was just yesterday. And it was great to see that they listened to that feedback. And now the end result of the customer is going to be much more satisfied. Of course, you have to be so careful with those beans and things and those without any box or something like that for support, So I'm definitely happy that the merchants that you come to love, they're actually listening to feedback from their everyday drivers. You know what I mean? Because we're the one delivering the food every day. So
yeah, I think we've seen a huge trend in those boxes become super popular in this kind of market, and I agree. I think the foil pans, when we first started here, I started working at DeliverThat in 2018, and every setup picture you ever saw was just those foil pans, and we've kind of slowly seen this integration of those. I guess you'd call it cardboard boxes. I'm not sure what the material typically is, but yeah, I think they look nice. It's a more presentable product, and the end consumer experience, like you said, is always kind of much better. Getting into DeliverThat a little more specifically. So we mentioned September. It was later September. I think the exact date is the 26th of 2023. So you've actually you've been like 4.5 months, not even 5 months technically at this point in time on the platform. But how did you hear about the platform initially? How did you come to be aware of DeliverThat?
Actually, I believe it was a UDM video that got me looking at to DeliverThat platform. I was like, well, I wonder if it's here because now we don't have a whole lot. Like we don't have Zifty, we don't have those other competition, I guess you would call them, platforms. I don't think we're any competition really. It's just area dependent, really. I mean, so we don't have those kind of things here. And I was like, there's no way we have DeliverThat, right? But I signed up about a year and a half, 2 years. It's been a long time. Like the profile, like I look at my old email, I was approved years ago, but didn't go through with it. Like a year and a half ago, and didn't go through with it because I guess I was satisfied with the other apps I was doing, So then when things started getting slower, I'm like, why wouldn't I just try this? You know what I mean? Like a catering, because I get my fair share of catering orders on like DoorDash, for instance. I'm in the large order program. I have been for that whole time I've been with DoorDash, really, to be honest. I think I'm grandfathered into their OG large order program where I don't have to really qualify anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have to take 100 orders and all that stuff. But with DeliverThat, you just can plan it out. That's the thing. You can plan it out. Like tomorrow, you can say, oh, 10, 11. You don't have that anymore with DoorDash. You have to log in and wait for an order to come in. Being able to plan that day out is just it's just the best thing. You know what I mean? Especially for someone who only works 2.5 hours a day. That's literally what I come out, drive 2.5 hours, and back at the house.
Hell yeah.
So that's it works out perfectly that way.
And I know your experience, I think, with the platform since you've been active on it, we'll say, has been fairly good. You've been very communicative. You're posting videos on your channel about our platform, which I genuinely appreciate. Very candidly speaking, I've really been waiting for someone to kind of pick up our platform and produce videos like that day over day, kind of how you have begun to. So it's very appreciative on our end to kind of someone showing actively how their daily life is with our platform is amazing to see those kind of things. But there are some drivers out there who join the platform and they're not seeing deliveries immediately and they're struggling to get that first order sometimes. And like you said, it seems slow on the platform or in the market, in the catering realm specifically, whether it's our platform or the others out there. Do you have a specific tip or a specific trick to a new driver joining the platform?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple actually. There are some things you just learn. By the way, I have a lot of people who have reached out and said that they have signed up with DeliverThat in their areas, which is pretty awesome to hear. I watch your videos. I'm in there now. I took my first orders. I love it. I love to see it because
Amazing.
we're all winning, right? I mean, I'm happy that they're watching the content, and then I'm happy that they're also making their money. Um, a couple things to look at when you're trying to accept these orders on DeliverThat, which it blew my mind when I was first starting. I'm like, man, it's hard to get. They're not coming in. For the ones who feel like orders aren't coming in, this is for you. Make sure you're toggled available. What I mean by that is you can show available, but have the app closed off, and it's off. You know what I mean? You can have the app like closed out, but it's off. You click the app on, and then you need to toggle. Make sure you're available. That way, you can start to receive the orders. Now, I do have the luxury of having multiple phones. So that also helps when accepting DeliverThat orders. It just does. Because if you're doing other things on another phone, you can have DeliverThat open at all times on that secondary phone to hit accept when those orders come in quickly. So, yeah, there's people say now you're preferred. You don't have to do the trying to get the orders quickly. You still do, unfortunately. You still do. I'm still battling trying to grab those orders as quickly as possible. But the beauty is now with preferred, you can have multiple in the queue so that you can pick and choose which ones you need to hold. So that is the absolute beauty. And that's why I'm working my butt off to get to the elite as well. And I think you should too. Work. Because then I can see 48 hours ahead of time, right? And now I have more leeway as far as which ones I pick and choose. And my day and will be planned out and videos will be planned out. That kind of thing will be great. So, yeah, but definitely make sure you're toggled on because that was the thing. I was kind of gray. Like right now, if you guys see, it's showing gray. I have it toggled off, but when I thought it was on, it was still gray. Because I guess over time, if you're not showed as available over time, it will automatically turn itself off sometimes. So keep an eye on that for sure, 100%. Just accept as quickly as possible. You do have a few minutes, even if it's within that 3-hour time frame for the delivery. You do have a few minutes to look over that order, and if it doesn't work for you, click it back, send it back out. But accept. You can't look at the order. That is, you can't look at the order before you accept. You need to hit the accept button and then do your analysis of the order. So that was the thing. I was doing the analysis first, and then by the time I said, "Oh, that was a good one," it's over. It's just literally over. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Those are definitely a couple of frequent issues we hear about on our end. And it turning you offline that you mentioned, I believe it's just if it knows that you're not moving or like mobile, I believe after such a period of time, it does toggle you unavailable at some point in time, like you pointed out. I'm not necessarily sure the exact timeline or how quickly that happens, but I believe that is a functionality. But those are, great points. Making sure you're toggled available and accept the deliveries as soon as you see them. Like you mentioned, we don't have a acceptance matrix or anything like that. So you can accept, send the orders back. You can take one order a month on our platform and be in the same standing you are throughout your entirety on the platform. We don't demote you, promote you, whatever. It just is what it is. So that's always a good point of emphasis for anyone out there. What about, anything on our end to deliver that platform as a whole? Is there anything you think our platform could be doing a little more efficiently or better on our end that you think maybe some other platforms out there that you see are doing?
No, I feel like DeliverThat is it's my favorite. It's my favorite app right now, 100%. It's 100% my favorite app, and you can know that by looking at my videos because I only do the things that I like. Right? I preach that all the time on my channel. Do the things that make you happy in life, no matter where it's gig work, no matter if it's career wise, no matter whatever you're talking about. Do what you love in life. Period. And I really love the platform as far as DeliverThat. Of course, people say the tip thing and the whole easy cater pool. That's the first gripe people have because they're looking at it with a narrow view. They're not seeing the whole picture there. How many people don't tip at all? There's people who don't tip at all. We deliver to a lot of hospitals. We already know a lot of the hospitals just don't tip. Schools. We know a lot of schools don't tip. So when we have that tip pool, it allows us to not have that negative feeling when we're going in delivering. You know what I mean? That you can say it doesn't affect you, but when you're setting up something, they didn't tip anyway. So you know what I mean? Why do I care?
How would I do it? Yeah.
So it just happens. But when you're taking those orders, I've never seen it less than this amount. You know what you're going to get. You know the base pay. And if there's hiccups, DeliverThat has always taken care of us. I'm talking. You don't even have to argue about it. It's like you don't even have to ask. It's automatic. Like there's this one restaurant which I don't know why we haven't got the address changed yet. But every time I deliver there, I tell them, "Hey, I'm going to the correct address," and it's multiple times. And every time I get an extra $15 just because it's the wrong address. But if it was changed, it'd help with things like routing. But anyways, it's not them. It's EasyCater. On EasyCater side, it's showing the wrong address, and I've voiced it. I even called EasyCater directly, personally, and they still hadn't updated the people. It's 15 minutes away. It's not like it's close. It's way far. If somebody makes that mistake, there's an issue. But DeliverThat has been absolutely smooth. You guys talking to you guys with customer, even with the hotline people, everybody's great. You talk to the same people. You know what I mean? That's the great thing about it. You come to know the same people when you're having things like routing. That's the same people you're speaking with, so they begin to know you. And I think that aspect is great. You talk to DoorDash or something. Who are you talking to, right? You could be talking anywhere with DoorDash, and they're never. You are a number with a platform like DoorDash. But with DeliverThat, you definitely feel like you're part of the team. So that's great stuff.
Hell yeah. I think I'll let the team know that as well. I know they love hearing some feedback like that. And I just did, I don't know if you've interacted with Brian over here, but we just did his Meet the Team, and he said the same thing. He was like, man, when I first signed on, the biggest thing for me was just like building rapport with these drivers, because you come in and we were like making a joke about it, like you guys can like sniff out the rookie. Like, when you're like, wait, I've never seen this person's name before. I've never interacted with them. And like you guys sometimes know the policies a little bit better than like a newbie would. So it's funny when those interactions kind of happen and there's like education from both sides. Like, hey, like that's a stellar driver on our end. So like take care of them. Please do your best with them and things like that. But always funny interactions that are consistently happening. And those relationships you guys are building with our agents on our end. It's always amazing stuff. What about outside of this gig world and stuff, man? I know you touched on poker a good bit in the opening. You said you're still a current online poker player. What's that life like? You said 16 years, I think. So is that like was that always been your profession? Did you have a 9 to 5 job previous or anything like that?
Well, yeah, well, I always did poker, but for my adult year, I always did poker. But I also went to school. I have a degree in marketing. I have my MBA in marketing. So I completed all that, but for my mom, really. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta. I want you to do this, do that. My dad was a poker player. I was taught poker when I was 8 years old. So poker has always been in me. Um, so I've played forever. I mean, it's just always been the thing that holds everything. It's the bill. I call it the bill money. It is. It's I can not do anything and continue poker and be great. But with the gig world, I get to it's so great. I love it because it's a win-win. Like I get to talk to people, and now it's a triple win with the content, the YouTube stuff. Yeah. So now I'm talking to people out and about. I'm talking to people underneath my videos, and those people walk up to me all the time. Hey, I've seen your videos. Thank you. That kind of stuff is just amazing to me. But you're also making a little money while you're doing it. So it's great. It's like a triple. It's, you know what I mean? You got your out to eat money. You got all kinds of, you have your extra money from making the videos and doing the gig work. So it really is. And it's all in this short period of time, 2.5 hours a day. Of course, it takes me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to edit every day, but you know what I mean? But 2.5 hours a day. It's great. I really feel like I will always do, and really no matter how far I get, how, you know, as far as with poker and other careers, whatever I decide to do, businesses, you know, flipping houses is something that wife and I look at too. No matter what we end up do, what we do, I will always find a way to do some gig work. I love it. It just, I'm one of the ones who do it because they really do love it. You know what I mean? I know that's not everyone. People are doing it because they have to, and they're forced to do that kind of thing. And don't think of it like that though. Think of it as something that you're really making a difference. Every time you drop off some food, look at the people who like, what do you got? What you guys got? Those people are happy to see. You know what I mean? And you know, that's the kind of stuff I love. So you don't get that in poker. so that feeling, you don't have that. I'm just here playing. I play 15, you know, tables at a time of poker. You don't get that kind of feeling. You know what I mean? When you're dropping off food and making people happy. So that's why I started it, and that's why I will continue to do it. It's been a great 6 years with it. I love it.
That's great. You say you play 15 tables at a time when you're playing online poker?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's wild. What you got? So we have there's a conference every year called Food on Demand in Vegas. I think it's a little later down the line here, coming up in April. Are you playing blackjack? What are you typically playing?
I only play poker. I don't gamble at all.
Oh, so that's like what, technically like Texas Hold'em, or like what do you call it?
Yeah, Texas Hold'em, Omaha. Poker is its own game. It's a skill game where it's math, it's statistics and all that. So there's with all that other stuff, I'm sure there is something you can learn, but I've just learned poker so much, and it's just what I know. I study it every day. Still, you never know enough. That's what I love about it. You just never know enough. So it just evolves. So I love poker. I love this stuff, and it just works well in my day. I start my poker grind about 6 p.m. until about 2 a.m. Then I start this in the morning, and then I just rinse, repeat. Saturdays I take completely off. So
that's crazy. That's a crazy schedule, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. I guess I didn't realize. I feel like I sounded a little not unintelligent, just uninformed. I never knew that poker was like its own thing. I thought that was like the general like basis of what card games were called, and then like everything fell under it. I didn't know poker was its own game.
No, it's its own game. It's its own game. Think of it as like chess. I mean, that's that's what poker is. It's its own game. Chess, checkers, chess is the poker.
Okay.
Part of it. Yeah.
Okay. What about so you talked about the content creation a little bit. I think you said you started, so 6 years in gig work, 2018. When did the content creation come about? Was that recent? How'd you get started? What was the like catalyst of it? You're like, hey, I should start producing this video content and showing people what I'm doing out here.
I started February 1st of 2023. It's been just over a year. I just hit my 1 year mark with the content creation, which is absolutely insane. I never thought that I would continue to record. I was watching some channels such as Nova Dasher, which is now he's Nova Hustles now. Dashing with Dodo. She doesn't do it anymore. But those guys, those are positive speaking people in the platform. You know what I mean? Those were the videos that I watched. And it's weird. You're watching videos with something you do every day. I thought it was weird at first, but then I started like listening to the personalities of these people. You know what I mean? These are people delivering food like I'm delivering food, and they have an audience with them, like who really sits there and watch every video. So I'm like, what if I flicked on the camera? Let me try it. So I flicked on the camera one day, and I mean, I've never done any editing and anything like that. That background is not with me. I've never done any editing and all that stuff until this channel, and and I got hooked. I got hooked on the process because I'm a very regimented person. So with the process of the recording, the putting it in the folders, the full editing, the whole process became like a ritual. You know what I mean? It's like my coffee in the morning. It's almost like I need it. You know what I mean, to continue. So when you get obsessed with the whole creation part of it, it doesn't seem like you're doing it anymore. So that's why I'm able to create so many videos. I mean, I'm over 300 and something videos in this just 1 year. So almost every day. I mean, I missed a few days here and there, but almost every day. I mean, when you're able to do that, you have to have some kind of schedule with it. You can't just willy-nilly record when you want, stop when you want. It's got to be hard for the ones like, say, like Nova, for instance, who records all day long, and now you have to edit sometime in the night. And my recording schedule and my editing schedule are exactly the same every day. You know, it doesn't change. I stopped. I'm in the house by 1 with driving. I'm done by 1, and I'm done editing by 3. The video is in the cloud, ready to be posted by 10 the next morning. Every day, it's just the same every day. So it's just when you have that routine, it makes it so much easier. And then you find things you like, hey, let's add a camera. I'm up to 4 cameras recording now, so I'm doing a 5th here soon. I want to do a camera on the car facing, like mounting on the top of the car facing, so I can see buildings when I pass. But that's the kind of things you keep adding on. That's just the kind of person I am now. I want to try to do as good as I can with the content. So it's about beating your own self, your own last version of yourself. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, that was, I was gonna ask that question, kind of what cameras and what angles you're working with, because obviously you got like the mobile camera, you got obviously your home office stuff you got here going on. I think you have something posted up probably in your car, like while you're in the car, like a little GoPro or something maybe. So what are you working with in that camera aspect? What do you got going on?
Well, I use a Canon M50, which is a full frame camera in the car. Actually, it's a big camera in the car with an actual Rode microphone, a big one. That comes for good audio. But then I do have a GoPro, and I have a DJI Osmo Go Mobile, and a different GoPro. So I just have those set up. I use my DJI when I'm picking up food and stuff. That's my chest one. It works best with the movement, I think, better than GoPros even. But for GoPros in the car, I feel like different angles works really well. So I have those set up in the car. But yeah, it probably will be another GoPro on the top, because they do well in the element. So if it's raining and stuff like that, GoPros do a really good job of sealing off all ports and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and then you'll be able to like time lapse, like from your pickup to drop off, like time lapse all the buildings and stuff. Yeah, yeah, I like that. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, that's the stuff that always intrigued me too about all this stuff, man. I like the creation part of it, but like the back end editing too has always been kind of like where my brain like really starts to turn, and like seeing how that process works was like I was like, oh, okay, I think I can really like maybe do this stuff. So yeah, that stuff is always intriguing to me to hear about what other creators out there have going on. So I appreciate that context of things. What man, I know this is gonna release probably sometime in March. So we'll have March Madness coming up. Are you a sports guy, a college basketball fan in any aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be big time. I was a huge Syracuse fan back in the day when Melo and all
Yeah.
that was going on. I'm from New York, as you can see, Buffalo Bills. I'm from Rochester, New York, originally. Um, so I was a huge college basketball fan back then, but I kind of not anymore, man. I haven't watched. I played basketball too in college, so I was one of those people who loved it, lived it, and all that stuff. But then I just kind of went away from it when it was over. I had a heart murmur in college and fainted on the court, and that was the last day I ever played. So that was it for that. And then I pivoted to another competition, mainly, which was poker. So that's really how I really started taking that really seriously. So
Okay, okay. What about you? You mentioned your dad played growing up, or still plays something along those lines. What is that like for you? Was that like a special like bonding thing for you guys growing up? Did you guys ever share that experience together?
yeah, it was kind of bonding, but we were sneaking. You know what I mean? Like my mom really didn't want him showing me how to play. He's passed now. My mom's also passed. But what was great was towards the end of my mom's life, she understood. She saw how I approached the game was totally different than how he approached the game, from the gamble aspect
Yeah.
to the business aspect. But people don't understand that there's a couple different ways to play the game of poker, and I'm fully business minded. Hence, I mean, my background in business and the marketing and all that. So I think about it in a different way than most. Um, I don't do the gamble thing. I've never had a losing month. No poker player ever says that. I can say that I've never had a losing month. I only have done very well over these past 16 years, and it's because I'm very selective and do it in such a methodical way. I pick exact tournaments that I have spreadsheets and all. I know exactly my EV and all that in these tournaments. So and people ask, why don't you stream your poker and stuff like that? And that's pretty much why, because it's my money. You know what I mean? Like that's I would have to show
What's
all of what
going
I
on?
do and how
Yeah.
I've been successful all this time. So it's tough. I thought about it because people in the channel wants to see it, but it also is like something that's really dear to me. As far it's something I really love, and to show all those aspects would be a little much, I believe. And I don't want to advertise people getting into it because then they'll think they can get into it and win. That's not what I'm about. It's something you have to learn to win. You know what I mean? It's something that I've studied for forever. I've studied forever, my whole life. So that's why I win. It's not because I do this and this is why I win. It's because I know the game. It's
Yeah, I think gambling too is so hot right now that I think anyone who can see like someone who's doing it successfully, they're like, oh, like let me recreate that. Let me get a quick buck like this, and
I would
they
never want to put that false hope into someone's mind. That's just that I'm not that guy. So there's tons of those guys out there if they want to find it. I'm not that guy because I know how much work it is. I know how much work I put into the game, and I know they're not going to put that same work in there because they don't love it like I do. So that's you got to have that passion in order to put that kind of work in.
Yeah, yeah. The passion. I think you seem like a pretty passionate guy, man. The gig economy, the content creation, the poker. I genuinely, man, I've been looking forward to doing some more stuff with you down the road here, and happy we were able to connect and take this time to meet over conversation and have this video conference, man. So thank you so much for your time. And I want to give you a moment. I know I shouted out the channel in the intro, but let the people know where they can find you, where they can consume the content, all that good stuff.
All right, yeah, you guys can find me at the Nola Grind here on YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty much all. I don't have any socials or anything like that. I'm working on that, but I'm not a social media guy at all. Uh, but you can find me here on YouTube, Nola Grind. Give me a shout, and I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. David, Nola Grind, thank you so much, man. We'll catch you very soon.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.